Starting off our list at number 10 is Justin Bieber. I'm not gonna lie, there was once a point in my life when I was sick with that Bieber fever. But in more recent years, he's been making headlines for treating his fans poorly, and I am just not cool with that. It is no secret that the singer publicly announced a few years ago that he will no longer be taking pictures with fans in public. Some people were mad, some were heartbroken, and some couldn't care less. There has been a list of incidents reported by fans of him being disrespectful in some way or another. One incident was at a concert he was performing in Manchester, England. He was trying to explain the meaning behind his Purpose album title, but the fans were obviously screaming with excitement, as fans do at a concert. He got so mad that he said in the mic, I quote, "I thought I could have a moment to say something, but if you guys want, I can cut the bull. I'm trying to engage, but if you guys don't want it, I'll play the music." Like, damn! People are just excited to see you. I literally go insane at concerts. But that doesn't beat out the time he also punched one of his fans in the face. During an encounter with a fan in Barcelona, a fan had reached inside his car window trying to touch him, and Bieber punched him, leaving him with a bloody mouth. Now, some people say that it was the fan's fault for touching him, but a punch to the face? Like, if anything, just push the guy's hand away. A bloody mouth? That just kind of seems a little unnecessary to me. But what do you guys think? Next up at number 9 is Christina Aguilera. I was surprised to hear this one because she does seem nice from what we've seen all over the media. But it was an actor who opened up about their negative experience with the singer, one who was very excited to meet her. Remember Damien from the movie Mean Girls? You know, the too-gay-to-function best friend? Yeah, it was him. I remember the scene where he sings Christina's song Beautiful in the talent show. Well, he had the chance at meeting her and he was excited to share that fun little bonding moment. But Christina wanted no part of it. During an interview with Yahoo Movies while celebrating the 10th anniversary of Mean Girls, he opened up about his experience of meeting the legendary singer. He said, I quote, "I met Christina Aguilera and I thought for sure that would be an exciting moment in my life. I was like, Christina, my name's Daniel. I sing Beautiful in Mean Girls." And she was like, "Never saw it," and then turned her back and walked away. She was so rude. I would personally be devastated if I was him and that happened. I don't know if I believe that she's never seen that movie though. Either way, you don't have to be rude about it. Sliding into the number 8 spot is Michael Jordan. The basketball legend has a handful of stories against him that claim he is just plain mean. One of them comes from the rapper Chameleonaire, who was thrilled to meet his basketball hero back in 2009. The rapper crossed paths with Jordan at the party for him after throwing down $7,000 for one of his jerseys at a charity auction. He says that he saw Jordan posing for pictures with some ladies at the party, so he thought that it was his only chance to ask. He approached Jordan, who was sitting next to Spike Lee and Paul Pierce, and asked for a picture. He tells the story saying, "They were just chilling and I said, I don't mean to be rude, but Mike, I just wanted to know if I could get a picture." According to Chameleonaire, Jordan responded with, "I ain't taking pictures with no," inappropriate racist term. He went on to explain how he is a huge fan and paid 7 G's for one of his jerseys, and Jordan got mad and said, I quote, "You know what? I tell you what, you pay $150,000 right now for a jersey for me and I'll take a picture with you." Cham says he was so heated and definitely didn't expect his response. And no, he never got a picture with him or even an apology. Taking over the number 7 spot is Robert Pattinson. The Twilight actor is known to have a sour attitude, dissing his own Twilight movies and also the author who wrote the book that made him famous. But people were still surprised to see his negative attitude towards fans, seeing as he wouldn't have the life he does if it wasn't for them. When he was interviewed for the German edition of Interview magazine, he spoke about his wild fan base and he questioned what his Twilight fans do all day. He said, "The real odd thing about this Twilight target group is that they aren't really teenagers. Most of them are older. Sometimes I ask myself what these masses of people do the whole day. They sit in front of their computers and comment on anything having even remotely to do with Twilight." He also referred to his fans as a crap group of crazies during an interview with Howard Stern. He's known for being blunt, but it might be better to say positive things about the people who kind of are supporting your career. And at number 6 is Tobey Maguire. He took on a role in the movie Molly's Game, which required the cast to get familiar with poker playing. According to Molly Bloom, Tobey was, I quote, "was the worst tipper, the best player, and the absolute worst loser." She says that she would organize games for Tobey, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Ben Affleck. Molly opened up about a cocktail waitress who would take home more than $50,000 a night, so they nicknamed her Poker Princess. Of course, she was a fan of the actor, but Tobey apparently felt that she was making too much money and humiliated her in front of other players when he ordered her to, I quote, "bark like a seal who wants a fish," for a $1,000 chip. The waitress tried to laugh it off, but he continued by saying, I'm not kidding. What's wrong? You're too rich now? You won't bark for $1,000? I mean, even if she wasn't a fan of his, she still wouldn't deserve to be talked to like that. I've obviously never met him, so I don't know, but I don't like his little ego in this story. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Rachel Ray. The celebrity chef and TV personality has her own daily talk and lifestyle show called Rachel Ray. Fans buy tickets to her show on a daily basis so they can be a part of the live experience. On TV, Rachel's personality is bright and friendly, but one fan who attended the live show said differently. A fan took her personal review to TripAdvisor and rated her experience a 1-star out of 5. Her review had a whole story of her experience, and in it she stated, I quote, "When she came out to greet the audience, she was cold, even seemingly annoyed that she had to do the show. She complained. She rolled her eyes and was not at all the perky, spunky personality we've come to know on her show." The fan went on to say that she also had the chance to see how she acted towards her staff, which she said was disheartening. She claims that Rachel would say things like, "Use your head," to some of the staff who seemed to be walking on eggshells around her. She ended her review by saying, "Thanks Rachel Ray, I won't be contributing to your viewership again." Damn. That is super exciting because people buy tickets to experience your live show, and obviously they expect to see what they watch from home, hence why they bought a ticket. Just go to Ellen next time. In spot number 4 is Spike Lee. He's famous for a lot of things, and one of them happens to be his poor attitude that he doesn't even attempt to hide when interacting with his fans. Not only his fans, but also other celebrities and co-workers. Throughout the years, many people who have interacted with him have come forward saying how disrespectful he can be. One incident was when he was visiting a university to give a public lecture and apparently cut his visit short by 40 minutes. People had purchased tickets to attend the event, so they were disappointed about it being cut short, but apparently he also wouldn't answer fan questions. After the lecture, there was supposed to be a scheduled Q&A, and fans reported that he would barely answer the fans' questions and looked very irritated and annoyed. Overall, he has a very successful career, but his reputation could use some work. Plus, the fans attending the events were obviously students, so like damn, students are broke. If they bought a ticket, give them what they paid for. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Sean Penn. It is no secret that the actor was first sentenced to 60 days in jail after punching a movie extra in the face, and then given 300 hours of community service for kicking a photographer. It's safe to say that the actor has a short temper and doesn't like having his picture taken. But having the lifestyle he does, he can expect fans to want to photograph with him or even of him. It's just what fans do. Back in 2013, after a sales conference in San Francisco, he became furious after a fan tried to take a picture of him. The fan had attended the conference which he spoke at, and they were in the lobby when he tried to snap the pic. A witness at the lobby bar says that Penn bolted after the guy screaming, "Do we look like effing zoo animals?" He then grabbed the man's phone and smashed it on the ground. In a video that was captured of the altercation, you can hear Penn yelling, "I'll make you eat the phone. Get the F out of here." The hotel management where the conference was held asked if the man wanted to press charges, but he declined and left. I can understand it can get frustrating to have your picture taken all the time, but there's a million different ways that could have been handled better. In spot number 2 is Conor McGregor. I would probably be afraid to even confront the fighter after seeing what he's capable of in the octagon, but many fans are thrilled to meet him and take iconic pictures with him. However, one night the UFC champion just didn't feel like having his picture taken, I guess. He was arrested and charged earlier this year in February 2019 after taking a man's phone and smashing it to the ground to destroy it. Conor was walking outside of a hotel in Miami when a fan began to take pictures with his phone. He saw the cameras flash and immediately snatched the fan's phone, threw it on the ground, stomped on it, and then picked it up and carried it away with him. The whole thing was caught on tape, and the man filed a lawsuit against him to sue him for battery, assault, and infliction of emotional distress. He demanded $15,000 for repairs, but the two of them reached a settlement. He was also facing charges with felony robbery and misdemeanor criminal mischief. All of this because a fan wanted to take a picture of you? Really? Like, your fans are half the reason why you're here. Probably more than half. Shake my head. In our number 1 spot is Christian Bale. The actor is famous for his acting skills, but also for being rude on the set of movies. We will never forget his iconic Terminator rant video. But his former publicist wrote a tell-all book called Christian Bale: The Inside inside story of the darkest Batman, which shares disturbing stories about the star. She wrote in her book that he was often disrespectful when fans would approach him. She says he would, I quote, lecture little girls about being rude and intrusive until tears streamed down their faces and their parents tugged them away from our table. Another more disturbing story was told, which shared the story of a fan who sent him a letter to his house. You know, fan mail. It's normal. Apparently, Bale told his publicist the fan should be eliminated and said, I quote, a screwdriver thrust through the eyeball into the brain prevents any screaming. Let me know how it goes. Isn't that like considered a threat or something? How does this guy get away with all these temper tantrums? That's what I want to know. How does he even have any fans left?
Coming in at number 10 today, we have Katy Perry. Have you seen all the drama surrounding Katy Perry and American Idol? Well, if you haven't, let me get you caught up. So recently, a 25-year-old mom who was bullied by Katy Perry on American Idol decided to quit the show while on stage in tears. When Sarah Beth Libby first appeared in front of the judges to perform You Know I'm No Good by Amy Winehouse, many viewers criticized Katy Perry and the comments she made during Sarah's audition. Sarah would later open up in a TikTok video in which she described the incident as being hurtful and embarrassing by saying there was a joke that was made that's gotten so much attention, and she then went on to say, at the start of my audition before I sang, I mentioned that I had 3 children and I was a young mother, and Katy Perry made a joke that wasn't super kind. Now the mom of 3 has decided to call it quits, and it's not for the reason you might assume. In an episode of the singing contest, she sang Roxanne by the Police before suddenly quitting and telling the judges after finishing her song, the opportunity is really rad, but this is actually going to be my last performance because my heart's at home. So I'm going to get home to my babies, thank you. With Sarah returning to the stage, Katy Perry would then beg the contestants not to leave, but Sarah stood her ground and left the show. And now we're all wondering if Katy Perry might be replaced as a judge on the show. Number 9, Justin Bieber. Well, we all know Justin Bieber is all about his personal space, and in 2017, he would show his fans that they probably shouldn't approach him and ask him for a selfie or an autograph. While Justin was in Australia for a leg of his world tour, he was approached by a female fan looking to take a selfie on the street, but instead, she would be left in tears. During the encounter, which was filmed and shared on the internet, the singer rebuffed her request by telling her, look at your respect level, look at you, you make me sick. In one swift move, he then took some bite of his food that he was holding and got into his car. His Melbourne fan then recalled during an interview on Nova 969, I took the photo anyways because I thought, when am I ever going to have this moment in my life? Well, Justin went on to receive some major backlash for how he handled the situation. In a brief dispute, the star seemed to go into digital damage control, uploading more photos of himself welcoming his fans, including a throwback photo of him shaking hands with a young girl on the beach. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. Coming back to our list, in the number 8 spot today we have Jennifer Lawrence. Did you know Jennifer Lawrence once made a grown man cry in a bar before? Well, apparently she did, and she even talked about the incident when she appeared on the popular chat show Late Night with Seth Meyers. When Jennifer was in the capital of Hungary for the shooting of Red Sparrow, when she ventured into the bar on a night with some friends, she would be drinking with her company when a fan approached the group and asked Jennifer to take a selfie with him. When the actress declined to take a photo with him, he apparently kept on insisting, to the point Jennifer and her friends had to ask him to leave them alone. Things quickly then took a sharp turn after the man got agitated and said F you to Lawrence, which then riled up the star, and she snapped, and she then grabbed her fan, threw a drink in his face, then poured it all over his suitcase, and after her friends stopped her from doing anything else so insane, she then noticed her fan was in tears. Number 7, Miley Cyrus. So Kendall Jenner has been a fan of Miley Cyrus for a while now, so it probably didn't sit so well with the model after Miley Cyrus recently called her out on her mean girl behavior. So at the height of Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber's ongoing feud, after it was revealed that Kendall Jenner helped Hailey Bieber make fun of Selena Gomez in a video, news would shortly start to circulate online that Miley made Kendall cry at the Versace fashion show in Los Angeles. Apparently, like the rest of us, she didn't like the way Kendall and her buddy Hailey were being mean girls towards Selena, and she wanted to call them out on it. So no one really knows what Miley said or didn't say to the model, but not long after the rumor went viral, Selena then posted a selfie and tagged Miley and captioned the picture by saying Violent Chemistry, which is a song from Miley's new album, and fans immediately started to suspect the post was connected to Kendall's and Miley's Miley's confrontation. Number 6. Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire isn't your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and yes, he did play Spider-Man, but that doesn't mean his nice on-screen persona can be found behind the scene, as apparently the star isn't as nice as he seems, especially when it comes to his fans. With there being several reports of the star displaying in some pretty odd behavior when it comes to interacting with any of his fans, he once took things a little too far. When Tobey was walking back to his hotel in Paris, a fan walking right beside him held out a camera in front of the star to snap a picture of his face. Looking annoyed, Tobey then out of nowhere slapped his fan's hand, which caused him to drop his camera and it shattered on the sidewalk. So as Tobey continued to walk away with his entourage, his fan would be left in tears. Number 5. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj seriously caused some major chaos in 2022 when she had to cancel her meet and greet in London on the spot. When the rapper was arranging to meet her fans at a venue in Camden in midday, the event quickly spiraled out of control after thousands of fans showed up. When Nicki eventually appeared hours later than what was originally scheduled, she was mobbed by the crowd and even had to be escorted back to her SUV before speeding away. In a since deleted TikTok video from the chaotic scene, it would show Nicki pushing a fan while she was attempting to make her way through the crowd to the venue on foot. Despite fans ignoring Nicki's pleas to form an orderly fashion line outside of the venue, Nicki would make the decision to cancel her meet and greet, and then the police would issue a statement saying it was shut down by the event managers due to safety concerns. And as Nicki drove off, fans started to cry and chase her car down the street. Number 4. Britney Spears. Back in November 2022, Alexa Nicholas would recall a time Jamie Lynn Spears had her older sister Britney Spears yell at the actor on set to the point she became a crying mess, as she recalled all the trauma she had to deal with while working on the Nickelodeon set. During the podcast, Alexa recounted that a talent coordinator told her mom he was taking her to get her hair and makeup done, but instead he brought the preteen to talk with Britney. At first, Alexa was excited because she was a huge fan. She thought Britney was just going to help her and Jamie Lynn work through their problems. But after going into Jamie Lynn's trailer, Britney started yelling at her as Jamie Lynn hid in the back room. While Britney has come out to apologize to the star, Alexa would acknowledge how she was a crying mess and that the show's creator even had to give her a DVD player in order to get her to stop crying so she could finish filming. Was Jamie's bullying only getting worse as the set carried on? No one really cared for Alexa since it was called Zoe 101 and not Nicole 101, but I think we can all agree Nicole 101 would have been a great show. Number 3. Lea Michele. When Haley Steinfeld was 14 years old, she was auditioning for True Grit on the Paramount lot. And while she was getting ready to leave, she ran into Lea Michele, who was filming Glee. When Haley walked up to the actress and asked her for an autograph, things quickly took a sharp turn after Lea ignored her and continued to walk by the young actress. A guy then came out of nowhere and told Haley it just wasn't a good time. So as Haley walked back to her car wearing an uncomfortable outfit from the 1800s, she would go on to cry the whole way home, because she was really upset at the person who's been a main inspiration for her own acting work was so rude to her. At the end of the day, I think we can all agree Lea should have at least greeted Haley and told her it wasn't a good time herself instead of storming off. Number 2. Jennifer Lopez. Back in 2014, Jennifer Lopez would be left cringing after one of her superfans dissolved into tears after being rejected on American Idol. With no content with attempting to win Idol, bubbly Ronald Reed was out on a mission to end poverty by trying to make the world a better place. However, when Ronald caught sight of Lopez, he then sat down to share a tuneless ballad, which sent the judges, including Jennifer, squirming in their seats. To the point Jennifer even told him that his voice wasn't strong enough. Keith Urban then had to take over and tell Ronald that he was really sweet, as Reed searched desperately for his mojo after being belittled by Jennifer, as she made fun of his lack of melody. Reed would then be sent home, while 33 other hopefuls made it through to the next round. And coming in at number 1 on our list today, we have Demi Lovato. Back in 2016, Demi Lovato would come to learn about how she crushed one of her younger fans after she canceled her concert. With Isabella Miklos being 10 at the time, she was looking forward to seeing Demi Lovato perform with Nick Jonas in Virginia Beach. After her family pulled their money together to buy her the tickets for Christmas as a reward for her excellent grades at school, when she found out the concert was canceled due to a scheduling conflict, Isabella would be left feeling utterly devastated devastated. In frustration over her child's unhappiness, Isabella's mother then took to her Facebook to share the images of her daughter looking excited on Christmas Eve when she was given the tickets, to crying in the car after learning it was cancelled. With Demi cancelling her concert just for the opportunity to be on TV, it upset a lot of fans, which is strange since the pop star has always been the one of those few artists which uses her platform to preach about empowerment, and she has so much pride in her work that she's always considered her fans to be her top priority. But then when she cancelled her concert to be on TV and said it was a scheduling conflict, it was really just a sad excuse.
Number 10, worst of the bunch. Of all the members of the clan, Kendall Jenner has been consistently brought up as simultaneously the most relatable and the meanest. She may take up the most points on this list all by her lonesome. As the first and probably most minor complaint against her, a TikTok video where a fan recalled meeting Kim Kardashian in New York City also happened to throw shade at Kendall at the same time. In the video, the TikToker praised Kim for being, quote, the most polite celebrity I've ever met. Talking about the celebrities that she has met, the TikToker said, quote, including Kendall, who I can't say the same about. It was interesting how when the conversation was about Kendall specifically, the TikToker made note that, quote, Kendall could learn a thing or two. The post made its way to Reddit, where other fans joined in on the conversation and their opinions on Kendall. One user wrote, Kendall has always just given me that reserved, wiry, shy but rude kind of vibe on the show. I wasn't sure if that was her in character. There was also one commenter that claimed to not know a single Keeping Up with the Kardashians fan who had a positive experience when meeting Kendall Jenner in real life. And here's an example of that very thing. Number 9, no tip for you. Back in 2014, a waitress accused Kendall Jenner of skipping out on a $60 bill and not leaving a tip. But wait, when the waitress allegedly chased after Kendall Jenner to get the money, Kendall turned around and threw cash in the woman's face and then laughed. It doesn't even sound like real life. The waitress then took to Twitter saying, quote, that horrible moment when you chase a Kardashian down the street because she forgot to pay her bill to be thrown money in your face. Kendall did respond to the rumors, but by calling them ridiculous, and she then had her lawyers whip up a cease and desist letter to the server. Nothing kinda says guilt like an instant cease and desist letter. I wouldn't know, I'm just thinking that's what it's like. 3 years later though, Kendall was also not a good customer at a bar in Brooklyn when a server posted a since deleted picture of a bill for just $24 that Kendall had signed but left the tip field blank. Now Kendall responded to this one as well, but by saying that she paid it in cash, but the bar accused her of lying. What are your thoughts on tipping? I know that it's one of the main benefits of waiting tables or bartending, so to skip out on that for me is pretty vile. Number 8, Sugar Factory. All those many years ago, back in 2016, Kendall's younger sister, Kylie Jenner, was at the opening of Sugar Factory in Orlando, Florida. For her arrival, Kylie had around 3,000 of her fans waiting for her, only for them to apparently be disappointed. The official press release from Sugar Factory themselves, of course, had almost entirely positive things to say surrounding the opening and Kylie's participation in it, but one publication, Star Magazine, seemed to see things a little differently. Coming from an insider source, the magazine got reports that Kylie's appearance at the opening was actually, quote, a huge disappointment, and that apparently she was rude to the majority of her fans. Star Magazine stated that apparently the youngest of the Kardashians/Jenners apparently showed up to the event an hour late, and if that weren't bad enough, she only stayed for about 5 minutes to take a few selfies and then just dipped on out of there, leaving fans dissatisfied and disappointed. Number 7, fitness. For a period of time in like the mid-2010s, Khloe Kardashian was pretty heavily focused on her fitness and getting into shape. Hell yeah, we love living healthily. But going along with that time in her life, Khloe would often post her workouts on social media, specifically Snapchat, for fans to follow along to and get themselves in shape alongside the celebrity. But as usually is the case, there was criticism, and some fans didn't think the videos were all that good. Well, Khloe understandably snapped back on Snapchat in 2017. With the pottiest of potty mouths, she addressed the seemingly impossible to please fans, saying, quote, what bothers me so much about people is that I'm giving you guys my workouts on my snaps for free. She continued on, quote, why the F are you still complaining and saying, if I had a trainer, if I had a gym? Well, I don't have a gym. We're doing everything outside. I'm showing you guys how to do the workouts so you don't need a trainer. I'm using everything that I'm sure you guys have around the house or could improvise. What the F? To be completely honest, I actually kind of agree with her. To complain that the videos she made out to share her experience and to try and help people who want to work out aren't good enough is kind of just just a little rude. But then again, she also said if only complaining burned calories, you guys would be some healthy I can't say the whole of the sentence, but you get what I'm saying? Kinda waiting it out. Number 6, nobodies. Now, we all need to just sit back and take this one with a little itty tiny bitty grain of salt. When a magazine uses the words insider source, more than half the time, it's just someone off the internet or someone who is not actually an insider, and therefore their statements cannot be taken as fact. It's also worth noting that most people have found Kim to be the nicest person of the family when meeting fans. But, that being said, Kim Kardashian allegedly calls her fans stupid little nobodies. According to Star magazine in 2012, an insider source, quote unquote, told the publication that, quote, Kris has text and voicemails from Kim where she calls her audience gullible, ouch, stupid imbeciles, ooh, boring little nobodies, yikes, and pathetic people with no lives of their own. Mic drop. Ouch, my feelings are hurt. I'm not a fan, but my feelings are still hurt. Don't be so rude. If you didn't actually say those things though, I'm sorry. And you're great, Kim. You're a great person. Number 5. Well then, I'm sure that most of us can agree that social media, but specifically Twitter, is a cesspool of meme lords, trolls, and keyboard warriors. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Twitter is like a breeding ground for hot takes, upsetting political stances, taking shots at famous people who would never normally give you the time of day, and, apparently, wannabe sports commentators. Those very same sport fans found a way to both comment on the state of the Cleveland Cavaliers and take shots at Khloe Kardashian in one swift move. One Twitter user tweeted, presumably as a joke, quote, Cavs haven't been playing too well since Khloe Kardashian. Just saying. That's because Khloe had been in a toxic as hell relationship with Tristan Thompson, who was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the record though, it was Tristan that was the toxic one, but in defense of her boo and the team he plays for, Khloe decided to clap back, and in her well-worded rebuttal, Khloe tweeted, quote, they are number 1 in their conference, but thanks for sucking my expletive. Hard enough to think I have that much power. Lick on my expletive while you're at it. I think we can all agree Khloe is truly a wizard of words. A true poet, I think. Very nice. Very good. Number 4, selfie. Last year, Hulu's Victoria's Secret documentary was available for the world to watch, but one clip from the documentary in particular caught some attention, and it was Kendall Jenner, back again, being a true Scorpio. It's a very short clip, but essentially the scene sees Kendall sitting on what looks like a makeup chair with a silk pink robe on, and a group of fans behind her. Basically, Kendall reaches back, takes a phone from one of the fans, snaps a couple selfies, and then hands it back. That's all that happened, but the whole thing was just so funny because, other than the brief moment where she smiled for the selfie, Kendall was not just straight-faced, but she had the stank face on. The one where you really just ain't there to even pretend to be nice to people. That kind of face. I feel like we all know what we're talking about. The fan looked like she was being silently told off when Kendall handed that phone back, and when Kendall turns back to camera with this annoyed eyebrow raise kind of thing, she looks like she wishes she would be anywhere else. Of course, the clip made its way to Twitter where people voiced their thoughts, like this one person who tweeted, quote, this clip of Kendall from the Hulu Victoria's Secret doc really says a lot about who she probably is. Someone on Reddit added, quote, that eyebrow raise and look of annoyance is irritating my soul. One more person did make a good point though when they wrote, it is actually disgusting. They forget that the fans are the reason they have what they have. And that is primarily kinda true, ain't it? Number 3, not in the mood. Now look, being a celebrity, having people wanting to take pictures with you all the time can be very exhausting, and celebrities have every right to say no when they don't want to take pictures with their fans. Point blank. Just as every person is allowed to say they don't want to pose for a picture. In an episode of Kourtney and Khloe Take the Hamptons, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick are off taking a casual ride through his childhood neighborhood in an old convertible. As is bound to happen, a few girls end up noticing them at a stop sign and they ask if they can take a picture with the stars. Scott was all for it, saying sure, but Kourtney quickly follows up with no! And they continued on with their drive through memory lane. Now Scott apologized to the fans saying, alright, sorry, she said no, as they drove off. And Scott is like, that's not very nice. And she explains she simply didn't want to get out of the car and that she's, quote, not in the mood for a pic. honestly, fair. She doesn't have to be, but I think she could have maybe been just like a wee bit nicer about it. I don't know. What do you think? Number 2, best spot in the shade. Ever been asked to move so a celeb can take a photo shoot where you were comfortably chillin'? Well, a TikToker by the name of Lizudel called out Kim Kardashian for allegedly booting her out of this really chill area at Revolve Festival that was right by a lake with like really nice grass, some decent shade, and it had like a fire pit. It was a good spot to get, but it was also a great spot for a photo shoot, and that's exactly what Kim wanted it for. The caption in the clip says, quote, "Right before Kim K kicked us out of this shady chill spot at Revolve," with the caption accompanying the clips reading, "Much love to your photo shoot," which is kind of like passive aggressive, so obviously the TikToker was a little peeved about it, but to be completely fair, reactions in the comments were pretty mixed. Some folks agreed and thought that it was messed up for Kim Kardashian to ask anyone to move, but others made a good point. Kim was promoting the brand Revolve that were running the festival in the first place, so these fans reasoned that it's fair that Kim gets to choose where she wants the photos taken. One comment read, quote, "Well duh, they invited influencers. Nobody knows who you are. They're gonna make you move." And that actually seemed to make a little bit of sense to a lot of people and to me as well, to be perfectly honest, but at the same time, when an area is available publicly for everyone, being expected to move so that Kim Kardashian can take a photo, it kinda sucks. Number 1, even at the airport. We gotta end the list with Kendall Jenner yet again. I'm so sorry. There are just so many more instances of Kendall being less than great with people as there are for any of the other Kardashians. As part of an ongoing series, a former LAX employee has been taking to TikTok, ranking her experiences with some of the many celebrities she's crossed paths with during her years working at the airport. Kendall Jenner was one of those celebrities, and the TikTok did not paint her in a great picture. The former employee described her interactions with Kendall saying, quote, "Every time she flew out, she was not really friendly to anybody and just walked around like really arrogant." Then she slapped Kendall with a 2 out of 10 rating. 2 is pretty good, right? It's 1 more than 1 and 2 more than 0, so I'd say that's something. This TikTok pretty heavily reminds me of the first and second point on this list. I promise I don't have anything against Kendall, she just seems to be the one who consistently gets called out for being a little unsavory with employees and general people. While it's possible these are just instances of negative experiences staffers had with Kendall, the consistency of the bad experiences, coupled with all that we have seen from Kendall and everyone else, doesn't paint a great picture of her or anyone's characters.
Number 10. Rihanna. Riri is a rude lady, according to some of her fans at least. A fan shared their story of a co-worker who experienced firsthand just how cold she can be. They told Hollywood Insider they had won free tickets and backstage passes from a radio concert. When it came time for the co-worker and her kids to meet Rihanna, she was sitting at her makeup booth and just refused to face them. When the young fans asked if they could get her autograph, she instructed a nearby backup dancer to forge her signature before just shooing them away like an actual villain, like, "Oh, you want my love? Shoo." In 2016, she further added fuel to the fire when she shared a photo of a young fan wearing a dress inspired by Rihanna's Wile E. Coyote themed costume that she had worn at an awards show a few years prior. She wrote, "Dark thought rises," with the hashtag PromBat. She shared that post with millions of people, alienating countless fans and ruining one fan's prom memories for the rest of their lives. By the way, I looked it up. If someone calls you a thought, slap them across the face 3 times. Number 9. Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett is an incredible performer, but did you know that she was terrible to her fans? A few years ago, Scarlett was starring in a play on Broadway, and following one of the shows, a small number of fans waited outside the backstage doors in an attempt to get her signature for their playbills. The person who revealed this story on Reddit claims that there were roughly 15 people waiting outside in the winter, freezing their butts off just to get a signature. Every single cast member that came through that door signed everyone's playbills and moved on with their lives, but when Scarlett came out of the door, she completely ignored everybody. The crowd had been waiting for the lead of the show for over an hour, saying it was a devastating blow when she snuffed the crowd and just moved on. This isn't the only time this has happened. If Scarlett isn't on a red carpet event, just don't even try. Why? It's not happening. If you've ever spotted Scarlett in public, maybe just don't pull out your cell phone and aim it at her, because apparently she hates that. Scarlett said herself that she doesn't like to be photographed in general, let alone by some super sleuth fanboy who's standing across the street like, oh, it's Black Widow. Number 8, Justin Bieber. Where do we even begin with this guy? The one-time singer has had a long history of negative interactions with fans since his first recorded incident in 2010. Justin was doing a concert in Toronto, and while staying at his hotel, a large crew of fans began to culminate outside of his building. He took the opportunity to walk out onto his balcony and spit on his fans. Over and over again, just dropping loogie after loogie. At the time, his representatives denied that the footage was authentic, claiming that TMZ had superimposed a crowd near Justin to make it appear that he was spitting on people. Not only did TMZ prove that that wasn't true, the multiple cell phone cameras that captured the event just further proved his guilt. Since then, he's been in the news for reckless driving, public intoxication, he bought a monkey and abandoned it at a zoo, and in most recent years, Justin was on vacation in Mexico when he began mooning tourists visiting the historic Mayan ruins. Several fans recounted attempting to interact with Bieber, who refused to not only speak to anyone, but he would actually start mooning them for asking. This all came to a head when Justin announced on Instagram he would no longer be taking pictures with fans, claiming that the experience always just feels dehumanizing. Fans were audibly upset and outraged by the announcement. No shocker there, if Justin just wanted calm, cool, and collected fans, maybe he shouldn't have aimed his talents at younger audiences. Number 7, Sandra Bullock. If you didn't know about this one already, you may see Sandra in a bit of a different light after this. Sandra has been starring in blockbuster flicks since the early 90s, maintaining a steady career starring in everything from comedies to Oscar-worthy dramas. In 2012, however, she went ballistic on a fan for simply asking if he could take a picture with her. And I know what you're thinking, Nate, that's not very rude. It's a very valid reaction to being asked by a stranger if they could take a pic. Well, let me ask you this. What if that stranger was a wheelchair-bound veteran? According to the person who was acting as her assistant at the time, a fan and veteran of the US Army approached Sandra for a simple autograph and just to say hello. But Sandra flipped at the man, covered her face, and yelled at him to leave her alone. Needless to say, the internet did not like that at all and bashed Sandra in any format possible. Now, when you Google her name instead of a poster for Gravity, it's just a picture of a guy wearing camo with the caption, "Why, Sandra?" Number 6, Ariana Grande. Ariana first rose to fame as an actor on the hit Nick series Victorious as the lovable, dim-witted redhead Cat Valentine. Since then, she has gone on to have one of the more successful careers in recent pop history. With all that fame, though, apparently comes arrogance, as she's also known to define the word diva. She once left a meet and greet because she didn't like the way the photos were turning out, and those people paid hundreds of dollars, and she was just like, ew. In 2015, a video surfaced of Ariana visiting a California donut shop. The owners were beyond excited to see her until she started licking donuts and putting them back on the shelves. According to the shop owners, those donuts were never paid for and had to be thrown away. They really should have preserved them though and sold them online. Some people are weird. This incident alone got her nixed from performing at a White House event despite multiple public apologies. The darkest of stories comes from a Hollywood insider and has not been confirmed to be 100% true, but the man in question was working with Ariana at a signing event. She was all smiles until the event was over, and when they entered the elevator, according to them, her first words as the doors closed were, "I hope they all frickin' perish." While we hope that's not true, would it really be all that surprising? I mean, she's hiding some anger, right? Number 5, Madonna. The queen of pop has a reputation for being cruel to her loyal subjects. One Reddit user claims to have seen Madonna signing "FU" instead of her name on fans' posters, but that was apparently not an isolated incident. According to the Daily Mail, Donna berated her fans in 2015 for having the nerve to be upset with the artist for showing up an hour late to her own concert in Manchester, England. She grabbed the mic, called them all impatient B-words, and told them to shut up. If that's not bad enough, she singled out a fan at a separate concert not long after that, and the fan was brought on stage and asked to sing "Open Your Heart" with Madonna. But when she didn't know the lyrics, the pop queen popped off. She said, "Really? You don't know the song? Shame on you." What's worse about that specific ordeal is that the fan was wearing a shirt that literally had the album cover from Open Your Heart printed on its chest. Hey man, if Steven Tyler gave me a mic and said "Sing Dream On," I'd also forget the lyrics cause hey, Steven Tyler just gave me a microphone. Number 4, Cameron Diaz. Somebody Somebody once told me the world was macaroni. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Cameron Diaz broke onto the silver screen starring alongside comedy legend Jim Carrey in his 1995 masterpiece The Mask. Since then, she's had a solid career but hasn't always been busy per se. In the early and mid 2000s, Cameron was casted in several critically acclaimed flicks like Being John Malkovich, Charlie's Angels, and she even lends her voice to Princess Fiona in the much-loved animated series Shrek. Unfortunately, Cameron is notorious for being cold towards her fans, with many reporting that when she does interact with them, it's usually to rant about their actions and why they should just leave her alone. In 2014, at the premiere of her comedy flick with Jason Segel, I can't say the title, you just gotta Google it, few fans were waiting outside the theater to ask Cameron for some photos and a few autographs. When she exited the theater, there were literally like 5 or 6 people waiting. Yet Cameron claimed that she didn't have any time to oblige their requests, and if she did it for them, she would have to do it for everybody. Okay, well, everybody in that situation was 6 people, and it would have taken her less time to snap the pics and write her name than it did to rant at her fans and ruin their night. She's been on an acting hiatus for a few years now, only recently coming back into the mainstream with the announcement of her co-starring role in the film Back in Action alongside Jamie Foxx. Good news is she's got plenty of time to sign stuff now cause hey, she's retired. Number 3, William Shatner. I'm getting a strange signal from a planet below. It's a video of William Shatner being a jerk. Captain Kirk has been a sci-fi legend since the inception of the television series Star Trek in 1966, and Shatner himself is considered to be the king of the nerds. Unfortunately, if you are a nerd, Shatner is the high school jock about to give you a wedgie. According to several volunteers from conventions, sponsorship deals, and even some cast and crew, Shatner's just a straight up duck. Wait, no, that's not the right word. Apparently, he has a history of making people cry that are trying to work with him. He's also told fans that if they didn't pose a certain way, that he would refuse to take a photo with them, even if they had already paid up. He's also known to give fans the silent treatment when they forked over hundreds of dollars just to get the guy's autograph. If you've ever paid for a pic or signature and didn't talk to him though, it seems like you might have gotten off scot-free. In 2018, Shatner took to Twitter to update his fans on his policy for signatures. He literally told people to just not ask. He doesn't like to do it in public, so if you don't like it, beat it. Seriously, how could a man who stuttered his way into sci-fi history act like such a bully from the 80s? Hey man, you're not cool enough to get my autograph, you nerd! Number 2, Will Ferrell. Will is actually not a bad guy at all. He's just one of those celebrities that are extroverted on screen, but they're just shy and awkward in real life, and sometimes that can be seen as rude. According to Autograph magazine, Will is the worst when it comes to signing anything. 9 times out of 10, he mocks people, taunts them, and embarrasses them for even thinking that he would sign something. It appears that his awkwardly mean persona follows him on set too. A Reddit user shared a story of spotting Will Ferrell filming a movie near their home. After watching Will for a bit, he spent most of his time in between takes berating staff members, and while he may try to poke at people in a fun way, nothing is fun about an A-list celebrity walking up to you and telling you that you suck at your job. In fact, that sounds like the most stressful thing anyone could do in that position. While there are a lot of stories showcasing Will's good experiences, the bad unfortunately outweigh them all, and he's known by fans across the world as a bit of a jerky turkey. And at number 1, Mike Myers. He's Canadian. He's a comedian. How could this guy be a meanie bobini? Well, it turns out it's his default setting. Mike may be well known in the world of Hollywood as a funny man, but to his fans, he's known as a short-tempered madman. One experience was shared with the media outlet Me and Stars, in which a fan told a story of running into Mike at a bar, with the experience being as disastrous as The Love Guru. Like anything could be so bad. The guy walked up and told Mike he was a big fan and offered to buy him a drink, to which Mike replied, "Hey, I can afford my own drinks, you a-hole. Save the cash for my next movie." There are several instances both on and off set showcasing his difficulty working with people. His Cat in the Hat co-star, sorry, I just get weird flashbacks when I talk about that movie. His co-star Amy Hill claimed that he had handlers dress his entire trailer and his work area was entirely covered with tenting because he just didn't want anybody to physically see him. Maybe his reputation as a difficult Donnie has something to do with Hollywood seemingly blacklisting him from appearing as a lead in anything until his recent show The Pentaverate aired on Netflix. Or maybe it was because he delivered one of the most racist performances of all time in The Love Guru. Yeah, that's probably it.
At number 10, we have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills' Lisa Rinna. As a lady who is more than used to dealing with catty back and forths, it's no wonder she was quick to come at outspoken fans of the show who were for posting negative comments on her Instagram. This all has to do with the quote disastrous path Lisa apparently went down during her second season as a housewife, where fans translated that Lisa would constantly conjure up manipulative and shady theories to switch up on people at the last minute. According to reports, Lisa's also been exposed as a woman who loses her temper and is a quote unstable harasser when faced with conflict. Incidents which at first seemed isolated have since been woven together to paint a worryingly dark picture of Beverly Hills' once fan favorite. On her page, Lisa took the situation into her own hands after growing tired of the hate and clapped back with a series of her own insults. Some included vulgar statements like, "I'm convinced that the haters and trolls are all fat hoarders with 50 cats, and with no teeth, they couldn't find their vagina if they tried." Lisa later attempted to justify her words with, "I'm going for it, I've got nothing to lose, you sick Fs." However, all negative comments, Lisa's included, were deleted shortly thereafter. Still, I'm sure the screenshots of her series of rants will be following her around for the rest of her reality career. At number 9, we have Hunger Games actress Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer sat down with Vanity Fair back in 2016 to discuss fans who can't seem to grasp the concept of personal space. The usually good-humored actress describes to the outlet, quote, "You might think you know me, but when you approach me, you're a total stranger and I'm scared. I get very protective of my space. It took me a long time to be able to do that. But if I'm eating dinner and somebody comes up and a flash goes off from someone's iPhone camera, I'm really rude to that person." Jennifer had to explain how her adjusting to fame was a journey, especially because her biggest struggle was dealing with her privacy. And while she was adjusting, a huge part of her strive for self-protection was refraining from commenting about her dating life in the past. As celebrities progressively get more open with their fans, Jennifer has instead chosen to shield a part of herself from fans who seemingly don't understand boundaries. Jennifer has also disclosed that anything her fans learn about her or do towards her will be done solely on her own terms. At number 8, we have Broadway legend Patti LuPone. This actress, singer, and double Tony Award winner was probably the most pissed off she had ever been at that point back in January 2008, when a fan in the audience of one of her Gypsy performances snapped a flash picture of her as she was getting into the start of her song Rose's Turn. A heated Patti broke character and immediately dropped her act as she went on to scream at the guilty audience member, quote, "Stop taking pictures right now. You heard the announcement. Who do you think you are? How dare you? Who do they think they are?" My guess is this was a no-pick event, so it makes sense that Patti demanded the culprit be escorted out by security or she would refuse to proceed with the performance. After the fact, Patti readdressed the audience with the words, "This is the theater and all of you, every single one of you except for that person, has respect, and I and the rest of this company appreciate it. Thank you." Since this historical moment for the book, Patti's rant has deemed her a Broadway legend, even igniting a YouTube remix of her spiel. When Patti sat down with Andy Cohen in 2013, she explained, "Audiences don't know how many times we don't stop the show. It just breaks this atmosphere that we're working so hard to create because everyone's taken out of it." At number 7, we have iconic rapper 50 Cent. During a Baltimore concert in April 2017, 50 was pulled off the stage by a female fan who had grabbed onto his hand after he extended it to the crowd before him. In TMZ obtained footage, 50 flailed around before punching the fan directly in her chest. However, the same fan later accepted 50's invitation to join him on stage and dance like one of his backup dancers. Still, the fan was quick to forget her exception of 50's supposed olive branch as she later lawyered up after the concert and announced her plans of suing both 50 and the venue of Baltimore Soundstage for the incident. At number 6, we have comedian and actress Amy Schumer. Now, Amy was out and about in April 2016 when an extreme Greenville fan suddenly confronted her about taking a picture in the middle of the street. According to Amy, despite her many refusals, the fan would not relax. Amy made the quick decision to put her foot down, but in quite an unusual way. She took to Instagram to post a photo of the fan on her page, and part of her caption reads, "I will not take pictures with people anymore because of this dude in Greenville." Her uploads made claims that despite the man smiling in the photo, he was a complete stranger who had aggressively harassed her into snapping a selfie with him outside of her permission. Additionally, the fan also allegedly went on to rant to the actress that he deserved a picture with her because he paid for her. Of course, the dehumanization and potential danger that this interaction brought about could have been prevented with a simple dismissal once Amy refused. However, the fan alleged that an entirely different occurrence went down that day. The male fan, later identified as Leslie Brewer, went to Fox Carolina to say that he merely noticed Amy strolling around town and went to pull out his camera to post it on IG, but that he stopped immediately when Amy asked him to. He also described being cussed out by the comedian while his family overlooked the situation. Leslie further alleged that he was upset when Amy mentioned his daughter in their disagreement about him filming her. He described Amy walking away before backtracking to inform him she was going to snap his picture and share it with her 4 million followers at the time. Leslie finalized by saying saying that Amy was quote just so rude. At number 5 we have almost Christian Grey actor Charlie Hunnam. Now Charlie is notably a swoon-worthy dude, and this was proven from his March 2016 video message posted online to fans who were sending hateful messages on social media about his longtime girlfriend Morgana McNeils. In it, Charlie says, quote, "It has been brought to my attention that there is a group of immature girls posting a large number of hard messages aimed at my longtime girlfriend. I would respectfully ask you to stop doing this. She is an intelligent, beautiful, kind person who just tried to live a simple life and has nothing to do with the entertainment industry." He then proceeded to shame his fans even more by pressing and pleading the fact that they had the ability to admire him without attacking her, and to spend time reflecting on how to improve their own lives rather than spewing out random hatred from deep-rooted therapy-needed issues. Yikes. At number 4 we have Queen Bee and her king, Miss Beyonce Knowles and Jay-Z. Now being Beyonce's husband is no easy feat, I'm sure. Jay-Z is technically another self-proclaimed bodyguard for her, and now their kids, on a regular basis. And Jay put this theory to work one day when he and his wife were partying through a crowd of fans outside of the Hands of Stone New York premiere. Beyonce and Jay-Z were there to support their friends and stars Usher and Robert De Niro at the time, when a fan wearing an H&M bag, who has since been unofficially referred to as the H&M bag-bearing bozo, walked way too far between the curb and the Carter's car with their phone set up in a selfie position the whole way through. Understandably, both Jay and the couple's bodyguard ended up shoving the fan away. However, Beyonce remained her humbly classic self by being positively stoic and easily smiling in place of getting rationally aggressive, loud, or rude with the overbearing fan. Still, I'm sure the blogs would have had a field day if she had done the latter half. At number 3 we have Oakland native songstress, songwriter, dancer, and former mid-2000s teen group Pop Life member Kehlani Ashley Parrish. During a portion of their Sweet Sexy Savage tour, they made a stop in Arizona where they had to promptly remove a disrespectful fan from their show. Before this, they were taking over the US through performances at venues and festivals scattered throughout multiple cities. Kehlani never once forgot to express their admiration and love for their fans during this. However, they also don't tolerate their performances being interrupted, especially by fans who want to rehash old drama that's already been dealt with. So when footage captured a person in the audience shouting "Kyrie" at the Oakland singer's show, they immediately requested for the house lights to turn on and began asking the audience to point out the problem starter. Quote, "Y'all better be loyal to me in this itch, point 'em out, get the F out this concert." For clarification, at the time, Kehlani was dealing with massive amounts of hate when it was alleged by Party Next Door on Instagram that they were cheating on their then boyfriend Kyrie Irving from the Cleveland Cavaliers. PND posted a picture of him and Kehlani's hands intertwined with a background of what looked to be a house, but Kehlani later confirmed amidst the hate that the picture was old and far before Kyrie. As a result of the backlash, Kehlani attempted to take their own life, which caused further hate. Both Kehlani and Kyrie eventually cleared the air by admitting they shared a great amount of respect for each other, with Kyrie even vocalizing how Kehlani would never do that to him. Still, the Oakland native was not here for any slander at their concert following their hospital recovery. They ended off their stage rant with, "We don't play that stupid ish up in here. Come on, Kyrie will whoop your effing, that's my best friend." Kehlani later admitted on Instagram how good it felt to stand up for themselves. Moral of the story, don't F with Kehlani. At number 2 we have singer, actress, designer, and businesswoman Robin Rihanna Fenty. Rihanna rapidly smacked a fan with a mic to escape him grabbing her during one of her Diamonds World Tour shows. She was performing her hit song We Found Love to the crowd when she reached out to touch her fans' hands while she glided across the stage. A concert goer ended up grabbing her arm and refused to let go. Rihanna attempted to move forward, but she kept getting pulled back by the fan, so eventually she whacked the fan with her microphone over the head before continuing her set. She later went on Twitter to set the record straight about her intentions of her actions when a user alleged she did it by mistake. Rihanna unapologetically tweeted, "Purpose, that itch won't let me go." At number 1 we have the former king of popping off at his fans, Mr. Justin Bieber. Honestly, he still somewhat holds this title, but in a much classier way, since he's ready to jump the gun and defend his wife Hailey Bieber at any given time. Still, nothing beats Mini JB and all his hot-headed altercations with fans he'd run into on the streets or while heading home. The first one was a fistfight with what Justin would call a mother effer when a fan was attempting to seek an autograph. For this altercation, a brawl had broken out between Justin and the fan when the fan had asked the singer for an autograph on behalf of his 2 female friends. In response, Justin refused and proceeded to take an ill-advised lunge at the larger man. The fan soon brought him to the ground in a heated scuffle. The Ohio mailman had lawyered up fairly quickly, and Justin addressed the issue on Instagram in a lengthy post that he felt like a zoo animal and that he was done with taking pictures with fans for the sake of his privacy and well-being. In another instance, Justin had landed a punch square in a Barcelona fan's face when they tried to touch him. This took place when the then younger star was on his way to his evening concert. Captured fan footage showed Justin sitting alone in the back of a car, which was cruising due to loads of fans surrounding the vehicle. When one fan in particular pushed his arm through the window to touch Justin's face, he quickly roundhoused his fist to the male's lip. As a result, the stunned fan turned to the filming camera with a bloody lip. Yikes.
Coming in number 10, we have Nicki Minaj. If there's one vital lesson the music world has taught us over the years, it's that we should never mess with Nicki Minaj. Over the years, the rapper has cemented herself as a wig-loving, explicit, lyric, delivering, no-nonsense force to be reckoned with. So it was only natural that she would have her fair share of feuds with other celebrities that have sparred with the likes of Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, Mariah Carey, and more. However, back in April of 2016, Nicki would tell Ellen that she regrets her past feuds by saying, "I'm a sweet person and I don't want to be mean to people." Nonetheless, that hasn't stopped Minaj from carrying the occasional feud. However, after Nicki decided to beef with Cardi, a lot of fans would be left leaving Nicki behind because it became clear that if you're going to come up into the industry, it doesn't sit well with Minaj as she wants to remain the best female rapper alive. When it started to make headlines that Nicki may have said something about Cardi B's child culture, and Cardi even would take her shoe off and throw it at Nicki's head, it would hint that Nicki might not be the sweet Barbie she's trying to portray herself to be. Coming in number 9, we have Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is known for her relatable personality and sense of humor, but she's actually not really nice to her fans, and she's even admitted to being incredibly rude, and that she does it on purpose when she's in public. During Variety's Actors on Actors series in 2017, Jennifer would have a conversation with comedian Adam Sandler. During the conversations, both would discuss how they both handle the attention they receive from their fans, and it's pretty clear that both like to take different approaches. When Adam referred to Jennifer as being famously light and approachable, she seemed to disagree and suggested that her true temperament might diverge from her perceived persona. Jennifer would then go on to say, "I just generally, once I enter a public space, I become incredibly rude. I turn into a huge a-hole." Jennifer would then use even more colorful language to describe herself later on. While the star tends to get icy with her fans in public, she would note that she does it because it's the only way she knows how to defend herself. So if you ever see Jennifer in public and want a selfie, just know she's most likely going to bluntly say no, and if you see her at a restaurant when she's trying to enjoy her meal, she's just gonna give you a sour look, wag her finger, and tell you she's not working today. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in number 8, we have Adam Levine. Adam Levine is no stranger to the conversation surrounding his alleged rude behavior. Adam is known to often even embrace it, and like many jerks before him, he repeatedly tries to gaslight the public into loving him anyways. The Maroon 5 singer is also known to get pretty rude with his fans when they simply just ask him for an autograph. In one incident, Adam would even proceed to call one of his fans ugly and refuse to sign an autograph for them. If that wasn't bad enough, in an interview with Cosmopolitan, Adam would also express his opinions on cheating, and he would even continue to go on to make excuses for men and why they tend to do it. He would then also go on to admit to cheating himself, and he really didn't seem so upset about his actions. And the fact that he cheated on his stunning wife with Sumner Stroff and he tried to name his child after her proves that there's something truly disturbing when it comes to his personality. Not to mention, but there's also been several occasions where he's just been totally rude on stage towards friends. To be honest, Adam has always acted like a bit of a tool, so it's no surprise to find out he's one of the rudest celebrities out there. Number 7, Tobey Maguire. While it's well known that Tobey Maguire isn't a fan of the paparazzi, he has also behaved questionably with others. One of the biggest incidents he was involved in occurred back in 2014 during a high-stakes poker game hosted by Molly Bloom. It's been said that Tobey often took part in Molly's poker games alongside of other celebrities such as Leonardo DiCaprio and Ben Affleck. However, on one occasion, Spider-Man showed his true colors colors when he once offered Bloom $1,000 worth of poker chips, but only if she barked like a seal. It said that Toby purposely tried to embarrass Molly in front of big name celebrities because she was winning so much that night, and it would later be revealed that this was all part of Tony's plan to take control of the poker game, and that's exactly what he ended up doing after he sent Molly out of business. Today Toby is more of a private person whose once over-the-top party lifestyle has been tapered down after he became a dad, and there aren't too many stories about him displaying rude behavior over the past decade, but for this incident alone he does deserve a place on this list today, because who tells someone they'll give them $1,000 to bark like a seal? Hilarious, don't get me wrong, but it's completely uncalled for. Number 6, Britney Spears. Back in November, a Zoe 101 actress, Alexa Nicholas, would spill some tea about her time working on the Nickelodeon series, and honestly, after hearing her story, it made me pretty much hate the whole cast of Zoe 101 for being so cruel to her. In one of her stories, she would detail a very traumatizing experience she had with Britney Spears. During the now viral podcast, Alexa would recount that a talent coordinator told her and her mom he was taking her to hair and makeup, but instead he ended up bringing the preteen to talk with Britney. When Alexa walked into Jamie Lynn's trailer, she said that Britney Spears started to yell at her as Jamie Lynn hid in the back of the room. Alexa would then go on to note that even though Britney had gone on to apologize to her personally, Nickelodeon still hasn't. Alexa also would say it wasn't okay because she was 12 and 13 years old at the time, but in retrospect, she knew the dynamic that was in place for her. She said, I think of course that's what ended up happening, and I think like, oh my god, poor Britney. She's in a horrible situation. However, even if Britney was 8 months pregnant at the time, there wasn't really a reason for her to have an unhinged moment with a star her sister chose to bully for no reason. After the incident, Alexa would be left crying in her trailer, and all the show's creator, Dan Schneider, did was give her a DVD player to get her to stop crying. Number 5, Ariana Grande. Now, I know you're probably saying there's no way Ariana Grande is mean, as she always appears to be this super sweet girl, but trust me when I say it's honestly all just a facade. There have been dozens of stories floating around Hollywood for the last decade that surround the star's poor behavior. Today, Ariana is mostly known for often blocking her fans on Twitter when they express a less than flattering opinion about her on her music, despite being all about having the freedom to say what you want to say. She also left Mac Miller when he was going through a tough time and struggling with substances and abuse and issues, but then came out to support Demi Lovato when it suited her narrative. There's also been a story about a man named Dan O'Connor who won a competition to meet Ariana. Dan would bring his daughters along, who were obviously really excited to meet the star, and after a long day of waiting for her, when Ariana finally met with them, she reportedly only spent 15 seconds with them, took a photo, and demanded that they delete the photo. If that doesn't scream diva-like behavior, she also licked donuts in a donut shop she didn't pay for, and just continues to display this really odd behavior. Number 4, Christina Aguilera. Christina Aguilera has a beautiful voice, but a bad reputation. Since 2008, she's been in a pretty long feud with Lady Gaga, which started in 2008 when she was accused of stealing Gaga's look when promoting Bionic. And in her response to the issue wasn't really the best. Christina would end up telling Los Angeles Times, you know, that's funny that you mentioned that. This person, Lady Gaga, was just brought to my attention not too long ago. I'm not quite sure who this person is, to be honest. I don't know if it is a man or a woman. I wasn't sure. I really don't spend my time on the internet, so I guess I just live under a rock in that respect. While the duo would put their feud behind them and do a remix to Gaga's Do What You Want together, it's just been said that working with Christina isn't exactly a treat, with multiple sources claiming that working with Christina is already difficult enough. Apparently working for the star is even worse. Insiders even told OK Magazine that her constant diva demands have led to most of her staff to throw in the towel and seek employment elsewhere. A source within tell the tabloids that Christina is incredibly rude and demanding, and she treats her household staff terribly, insisting that they be on call 24/7, and that she'll even call staff on the other side of the house to grab a towel that is just mere feet away from her. Number 3, John Mayer. Over the course of 2 decades, John Mayer has sold more than 20 million records, earning him multiple Grammys, and he's even traveled the world with top grossing tours. And yet, despite all of his success, people still don't like the man. While he may be extremely talented, that hasn't stopped him from displaying some pretty rude behavior. Over the years, the man has been responsible for Your Body is a Wonderland, has had a history of bad behavior that has stemmed from being misogynistic and racist, and while John regularly tends to make sexist and racist comments through his career, he has also gone on to say some pretty hurtful things about his ex-girlfriends, and he has somehow, despite all of his problematic behavior, managed to continue to have a very successful career without being cancelled. And it seems like as long as you're good looking and you can sell a handful of records and make a lot of money, you can get away with anything in the music industry. However, when John did Jennifer Aniston dirty in 2008, after he confessed that he broke up with her because he didn't want to waste his time with somebody that wasn't right for him, he came off as a total jerk who was only interested in taking credit for the breakup, and Jennifer didn't deserve that. Number 2, Kanye West. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's divorce was messy to say at least, but the drama between the former couple just continues to escalate due to Kanye's increasingly alarming behavior, which stems from accusations that Kim was withholding her children from him and over the fact that she was dating Pete Davidson for a bit. Kanye has continued to head to his social media accounts to express his anger and frustrations while making an attempt to bully Kim in front of the world. Kanye's social media presence is a constant target to Kim and her former partner Pete Davidson. Kanye has been creating a dangerous and scary environment, and while he does seem to come out to take accountability for some of his actions, he just jumps right back into his old ways and creates more damage. It seems like anything pertaining to Kim and Kanye keeps making headlines as Kanye keeps engaging in the idea that it's okay to harass his estranged wife and that his behavior is justifiable because he's just protecting himself. While Kanye is struggling with his own mental health, his constant attacks on his ex-wife are hurtful and causing further pain to their family. While a lot of Kanye's fans continue to see there's nothing wrong with his actions, he has continued to act out in problematic ways, and his actions are just so unjustifiable at this point. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is constantly being criticized for his rude behavior, as the Peaches singer has been a part of several controversies, especially when he was younger, with rumors stating that he cheated on Selena Gomez, he has a habit of spitting on fans, or getting arrested for driving under the influence. He has faced massive backlash every single time. While the star has definitely grown a lot since getting married to Hailey Bieber, in 2018 he would find himself getting called out again, and this time by famous singer and dancer JoJo Siwa, after she claimed that Justin was rude to her in a TikTok video. When JoJo bought a custom BMW 4 years ago, Justin Bieber would comment on the photo and tell JoJo to burn it. JoJo would then take a screenshot of the comment and say, "POV, you're Justin Bieber when I got my first car." The audio in the back of the video also played the lyrics that said, "Did I say stand there and look stupid? No, I said burn it." This audio was made for me, though Justin tweeted about the same video in 2018 as well and said it wasn't malicious or mean-spirited. JoJo still decided to call him out and name him as one of the meanest celebrities she has ever met.
Kicking things off at number 10, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is one of the most famous NBA players of all time, but just because he's well liked doesn't mean he has to play nice with everyone. Michael is known to be pretty hostile towards his fans, and frankly he wants nothing to do with them. The athlete is known to be kind of an a-hole when meeting his fans, and he just generally doesn't want to interact with them. He's lost quite a few loyal fans because of his poor attitude towards them. On top of that, he also refuses to take pictures with any other celebrity, so if you're famous and you want a picture with a basketball legend, you'll either have to pay up or you're out of luck. In our number 9 slot, we have Cameron Diaz. One of the most common things fans ask from celebrities are autographs. Some celebs are happy to sign something for their adoring public, and often others decline. When it comes to actress Cameron Diaz, she has a reputation for turning on her fans when they ask for an autograph in a pretty unique way. Instead of politely declining or even just screaming no at people like other stars do, Cameron likes to lecture everyone who asks her for something. Almost like when your mom gets mad at you for like something really small and petty. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Cameron gets angry and goes on a tangent about her not wanting to sign things. In her defense, it's kind of reasonable when she says that if she signs something for one person, then she has to sign something for everyone else. But still, when a fan comes up to you, the last thing they're looking for is an angry lecture. Coming in at number 8, Madonna. Pop star Madonna is always out here creating and performing for her fans, so I think it's safe to say that she's under some stress. Well, in one incident back in 2015, stress seems to have gotten the best of her. After being over an hour late to her concert in Manchester, fans were getting really upset with the singer. Fans started booing Madonna for making them wait so long. Well, I guess this struck a mighty large nerve for Madonna because she clapped back, and boy did she clap back hard. She began ranting to the audience about the people who were upset with her and used some pretty foul language that is frankly not safe for YouTube. She also called the fans some pretty nasty names and made a huge spectacle about the whole ordeal. Now, in Madonna's defense, she did say that the show's delay was caused by a malfunction, so her outburst was probably caused by the fact that she was pretty stressed. But after waiting for so long and receiving some pretty nasty words on top of that, Madonna's fans felt pretty betrayed after that night. At number 7, Jared Leto. Imagine going to your first concert, trying to sing along to your favorite band's lyrics, and getting ridiculed for it. That's what happened to one fan at a 30 Seconds to Mars concert in Brazil. Band frontrunner Jared Leto is known to be a pretty chill guy when it comes to his fans, but he's also known to get pretty frustrated with them too. During a portion of his concert, Jared asked the audience to sing along with him. As he looked into the crowd, he saw one fan in particular who was struggling to sing all of the words correctly. I guess this made Jared a little unhappy to see his fans butchering his lyrics, and he flipped her the bird. Not very nice of you, Jared. It was the girl's first time at a 30 Seconds to Mars concert, and you know she was just trying her best. There's actually a video of the incident on YouTube, and Jared does not look happy on stage. At number 6, Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire played the lovable crime fighter Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi trilogy, and from that point, fans fell in love with the actor because of his on-screen persona. But would you believe that he's quick to turn on his fans? Yeah, he's been seen on multiple occasions being rude to his fans and yelling at paparazzi every time they come up to him. His antics got so bad that Hollywood labeled him as Bully Maguire. Yeah. He was even seen slapping a camera out of a photographer's hand in a fit of rage. And it's not just his fans he turns on. No. Author Molly Bloom had an unpleasant encounter with the actor at a casino where he offered her a $1,000 poker chip if she barked like a seal. When Molly refused, as honestly anyone would, he replied, "What's wrong? You're too rich now? You won't bark for $1,000? Looks like Toby's the one who's too rich and famous to play nice. The fame must have gone to his head, and now he thinks he can bully anyone he likes. Halfway through at number 5, Catherine Zeta-Jones. There's nothing worse than your childhood idol crushing your little soul. Unfortunately, this exact thing happened when a fan met actress Catherine Zeta-Jones. One 8-year-old fan who looked up to Catherine as an idol got the chance to meet the actress one fateful day. Unfortunately for her though, that day turned sour pretty quickly. When the little girl got her chance to speak to Catherine looking for a little bit of Hollywood wisdom, she told her that she wanted to be an actress when she grew up. Catherine then turned to the child, looked her up and down and said, "Well, you're pretty enough, I suppose." Ouch. The kid, who is now an adult, recounted the story saying that she became pretty self-conscious about her appearance from that point on. Never meet your idols, I guess. And at 4, Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez is one of the most famous women in Hollywood, so naturally she's bound to have a lot of fans. J-Lo is also known to be pretty difficult with her fans too. It's pretty understandable that you get overwhelmed by the amount of eyes on you at all times, but sometimes it can get the best of her. Jennifer is known to have turned on a few fans either by lashing out or even getting them fired from their job. That's right, one fan definitely isn't looking up to J-Lo anymore. It was reported that the Hollywood icon had gotten a maid fired just for asking for an autograph. Just a single piece of paper with a signature. That's it. I mean, if she asked for a photo, sure, that'd be one thing, but writing on a napkin? That certainly does not warrant losing your job. Other people have reported their run-ins with Jennifer, saying that she's not really that nice to her fans, but this situation really shows how a star can turn on a fan. Coming in at number 3, Christian Bale. Have you guys seen that new Batman trailer? The Robert Pattinson one where he's like super violent and dark? Well, this next scenario reminds me a lot of that. Christian Bale, known for his role as Batman in The Dark Knight, is known to have a pretty bad attitude on and off set. It probably benefits his Batman character, but still. He also has a reputation for being pretty mean to his fans. In one instance, however, he went full Bat mode and really turned on the fan. He allegedly threatened them with a screwdriver and said that they should be eliminated, and he would thrust the screwdriver into their eye and into the part of the brain that prevents any screaming. WTF, dude? Now, I don't know what happened during their exchange which would have prompted this kind of behavior, but my god, man, simmer down. You're not really Batman. Keep the toolboxes away from Christian. In at number 2, Rihanna. Rihanna is famous for her killer style and red carpet looks, so when a fan went to prom in a Rihanna-inspired getup, you'd think she'd be pretty flattered. Wrong. When Riri's 16-year-old fan posted a picture of a pantsuit inspired by the pop singer, she pretty much threw it back in the kid's face. Rihanna posted a side-by-side picture of the two outfits and ridiculed the teenager on Twitter. She made jokes about how the fan looked like the Wu-Tang Clan symbol and even included the hashtag prombat. Ouch. The fan went on to say how humiliated she felt and mentioned that Rihanna doesn't love her fans like she claims she does. Imagine loving a celebrity so much to go so far as to dress like them, only to be publicly ridiculed by the person you look up to. Capping things off at number 1, Robert Pattinson. This one's gonna hurt some Twilight fans out there. So basically, Robert Pattinson hates you guys. No, but really, he's been known to have his grievances with the Twilight franchise, including the fans. In an interview that came around the time of the releasing of Breaking Dawn Part 2, Pattinson was asked about his thoughts on the film, and he said that he really would have hated the films were he not part of them. He also really couldn't understand why people liked the movies in the first place, and he has a dislike for the fandom as well. When asked about what he may have stolen from the Twilight movie set, he replied with, "My dignity." He really turned on the very people who raised him up during those movies by being so vocal about how much he disliked them and everything they stood for as a fandom. Obviously that must have hurt a lot of fans to see the guy they've been gushing over for years just brush them aside like that. Most of the people on this list have turned on a few fans, but Edward here just dissed them all at once. Harsh, dude.